Hello everyone. So in this video I will talk about the research proposal for any department, any major. So this is not just for applying for Turkiye Burslari. You can even use this when you are writing your research proposal for your master or for your PhD. So this is the basic outline that they give in the application system. So for the PhD applicant, you must fill this application in English or Turkish. But for the master's applicants, you can write it in any language you prefer, including your native language. And one thing you should know is that for this proposal, you don't need to actually do it when you start your program, master or PhD. For this Turkiye Burslari application, they just want to see how much you are knowledgeable in this field. It is also one of the important criteria. First of all, the word limits of any research proposal would be between 2000 and 2050. But for the Burslari applicants, you don't need to actually follow this word. Make sure you follow the maximum and minimum word limits given in each session. This is a general structure of the research proposal here. Before writing anything, you have to make some preparation. First is you need to find your research area and research topic. And if you don't know your research topic or research area, you should search in Google Scholar. Type in any keyword of your research areas, for example, artificial intelligence. So read the recent paper. You don't need to read the whole paper. You can simply just read this abstract. Abstract means this is a summary of the whole paper. And then when you are going to the literature review, you can read all other sections. After that, you can decide your research topic, title, or subject of study. Research topic or the subject of study means it is an issue that you are interested in. So this is a general issue. Title include your research topic and also the problem of your research. For example, here research area is machine learning and AI, which is very general, and topic means specific topic inside that machine learning, so deep learning, healthcare system. And research title is the problem which you want to focus. Is longer. After that, you will write the abstract. Normally, you will write the abstract after you finish the whole thing, so that you can make some summary. First, you will write the introduction of your research topic, first line, and then second line is motivation of choosing this topic. The third line in research problem, summarize the research problem, and then research method, and then expected result. Here, you don't need to make any citation. And then literature review. So the general structure of the literature review has a funnel shape, which means you have to first introduce your topic, like broad introduction, and then talk about the previous work, the other people, what they have done in your study in this topic. After that, limitation of this work. So they have some weakness in this work. Finally, you will write your research question. Literature review can be more than one paragraph, but in the research proposal of the Turkiye Burslari, you don't need to do that. You will just write it based on the word limits. So in the first paragraph of the literature review, you will just write the general background related to your research topic. Okay, 2 to 3 sentences. After that, you narrow it down by explaining the key information of your title. For example, in your research title, you talk about the accuracy and analysis of deep learning. So you will talk about, okay, why the accuracy is important in deep learning, and what is medical imaging, and what happens if there is a noise. So you will break down each and every word and explain. And then in the body paragraph of this literature review, we will make compare and contrast of previous work. First, theory and concept in their work. Okay, you can compare the data or the research method they use, or you can compare the result. You don't need to compare all three of them. You can just pick one of them. So you will just pick the one that is related to your research paper and focus on only that related point. So this is a step in comparison. Pick one point and then compare a group or research. After comparison, For each point, you can write at the end, you can write their weakness. And then you can do this process for another points also. For example, this is for point number 1. You want to compare the theory and concept. Mention the previous work 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, 3 use this theory, but this 1, 2, 3 had this weakness. That's why another 4, 5, 6 do another improve concept. But still, this 4, 5, 6 have another weakness. Final paragraph or literature review, you can conclude the importance of the theory or the methodology of the previous study if you want to use that one. Or if you want to make some improvement, you can say the research gap between all these previous one. This previous one didn't do that. This is missing. It is required to improve. That's why you want to study this research question. This is some of the example in my research papers. So here you can see this 9, 13. It means this is the citation from 9 to 13. They talk about that. Based on the above literature, I say that there is some other thing it need to be done. Because of this motivation, I want to study my topic. After that, you will flow into your research question. Research question means it is should be concise and focused. Okay, you can write 1 or 2 main question and then you can explain it into sub question. Research question normally include how and what. For example, what are the characteristics of A that contribute? So how A and B affect C. So this is the basic research question. There can be any other way also depending on different field. And research question is different from research objective. Research objective means it is the target, like step by step. So you want to analyze this, you want to identify this. So these are the keywords you should include. After the background or research analysis of this problem, now you will explain more detail about this problem. First line, you can introduce the keyword in the question. So if you have several keyword, that maybe the other reader they will not understand all these things, so you will explain, okay, what is that, and then discuss all the concept, theory or system model that are related or that you want to use to answer your research question. Here, this is not about proposing your idea. You just simply explain what is this question, what is the problem, main problem. For example, if your research question is about how deep learning is useful in medical practice, you will explain what is deep learning first in the first line. The second line, you will talk about all the concepts used in deep learning like CNN, RL, definition, meaning. After that, you will explain about how it is used in medical product. You will divide the research question and then explain all of them in detail. After that is a research method or research design. To write this section, you need to understand your research type, qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative means your research will be done from the interview and discussion, and for quantitative means it is numerical. This is like numerically you will do the data from the survey or you will do it from experiment, from the theory, find a comparison relation. So after you know your research type, you can explain your data. If you're going to do interview, what is the sample group, what is the size, and you have to make the definition of your data. So is it the simple Q&A question or you have to set up the experiment, and what is the meaning of your data. You just simply need to explain the definition of it. After that, how will you collect all these data? Will you do experiment or you will do interview, and which equipment you will use to collect, and how long you will have to do your interview if you were going to do, how many do you need. If you don't know your data collection, you can read related academic paper in your field and you will know how they are doing, and you can follow the data collection method that they use also. And then after you collect the data, you will have to do analysis of the data. So will you use software or will you do any tests to make some comparison? It depends on your field. After that, when you do comparison, what kind of key indicator or performance metrics you will use? Will you compare the average between them? Will you compare the percentage? No, in the wireless communication, we compare the data rate. Will you use error, correlation, and what kind of pattern to answer your research question? So you should always go back to your research question. After that, if you have any other space in your proposal, you can write your limitation of this research. In every point, make sure to justify your choices. For example, you choose to use this data A instead of data B. Why? So you need to explain it. So these are the examples you can see. After that, expected result or preliminary result. If you are not familiar with the expected result of your experiment or your interview session, you have to read the result session of the previous study that are very close to your research field. You can explain your similarity, but you expect that it will be improved. This is expected one. You don't need to show the detailed numerical data if you don't have yet. So the main point is you need to explain the data interpretation and their relation to the research question. For example, your research question is about the impact of something. So when you see there's some comparison from your data interpretation, you can always relate it to your question. So the point is that you don't need to actually show the numerical data, just the summary or what you are expecting based on the result of the previous study. Another one is the significance of contribution. Contribution means the originality and novelty of your proposed study by answering why your research is important. So this is simply importance of your research. To talk about the contribution, you should answer all these questions. Okay, first, why is your research topic necessary currently? Okay, just the topic, not the whole research question. And then, so this is again, you can go back to the literature review, how previous one and your idea is different. After that, you will explain the detail why your research question is required to be focused in this field. This is again the comparison of the previous study. Because of answering this question, you will make improvement in this field, something like that. And then talk about a possible use case of your research finding for near future or long terms, even in academic or in the industry. So other researcher can use your data or research finding, and then it will contribute your field. And then you can talk about the impact of your research finding or your research study on your country, economy, and society in general. And lastly, list any possible future work that can be done based on your finding. You don't need to include all 6 of them in your contribution. You can pick any 2 or 3 points depending on your research area. And lastly is a timeline. It is optional. And the reference is finally, this is reference number 1.
This is what I copy and paste. This is approximately 300 words, but here you can see there is some more space you can write here. And for the remaining character, you can list down the reference which you used in the study, the one you make citation, the academic resources in your study. That's it, guys. I know it is hard to write a research proposal, but just try to show your knowledge in your field and that will be fine. I wish you all good luck in your application. See you in the next video. Bye bye.